Hello there everybody, Sabanai2 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Higurashi Kai Matsuribayashi. I almost had a goddamn heart attack, or not really much of a heart attack, but more or less a brain fart on what the hell I was doing. So, there's actually a couple of things I should probably go over real quick before I get started. One of the things that was kind of mentioned, I kind of brought that, it was actually brought up in the Discord by Okinogi Tetsuro. So shout out to Okinogi in the Discord. There's a possibility that there's actually one piece, there's a fragment that I apparently might have already have, which is a living specimen is required. So I'm going to keep that in mind for, well, what else we do here. Also, I'm sure you noticed the length of the video. I apologize. Let's just say life has been, well, specifically the day job that I work at has not been very kind. So, unfortunately, I don't have as much free time, specifically this week, for Higurashi, which, unfortunately, it's just the timing, and I will apologize for that. So, I'm going to try to cover, well, as much as I can for right now. Okay, I have a shit ton of, dear God. Alright. So let's see. We got her detailed test results, and I'm not entirely sure if we actually got IRIE'S decision yet. Let's see. We got his motive, but we don't have the discontinuation of Satoko's dissection plan yet. Let's see. Wait, a living specimen is required. Hey! Oh! The first sacrifice. Did not realize we actually had the requirements for this one, possibly. Let's see. Yes! Okay, that pretty much confirmed that I've actually got the piece that I need here. Thank God. I'm half asleep, so I don't even hear the phone ringing nearby. After a while, I finally realize a phone is ringing, which means there is some kind of an emergency. It's 2 a.m. Who could call me at this time of the night? Oh! Hello, this is Irie. I'm sorry to bother you, Dr. Irie. I just took a guess and it was Takano. It is Takano-san. She's never called me before for a personal reason. At the Institute, she is ranked just below me, so basically she is responsible for running the Institute. So if I had to call me this late at night, it must be an emergency. Oh boy. Sorry it took me a while. Is it true that we have another terminal phase patient? Yes. I was hoping to find a living specimen, so this is perfect. I initially think that maybe she abducted someone. Probably. The man is already in the research area on the underground floor of the clinic. He is struggling on the examination table and is being restrained. It looks more like he is deranged than that he's resisting. I don't even understand what he is saying. He sounds angry, sorrowful, and like a child throwing a tantrum, all at the same time. It is obvious he is not in the right state of mind. Anyway, let's put him under anesthesia. He may kill himself otherwise. I wanted to observe him a little longer, but I guess I have no other choice. Of course. One of those staff with a white gown gets the anesthesia ready. Even a normal person would go crazy on a restraining table in this suspicious room, but this man's behavior is at an abnormal level. I'm sure Okinogi-san and his buddies from the Mountain Hounds are the ones who captured him. Capturing a man in this state of mind can't have been an easy task. No shit. According to her, she ran into this patient on her way home from the clinic by accident. Quote-unquote, accident. She brought him back to the clinic and tested him, and the result came back positive. Of course, I have no intention of just believing what she's telling me. But there is no question that this man is at the terminal phase, and a live specimen is exactly what we need for the Hinamizawa syndrome research. Okay. terminal phase patient. I'm gonna go ahead and write that down. Just to keep that there. Who is this man, anyway?
He had something wrapped in newspapers. What do you think was in it?
What is this? There is something wrapped in a bloody newspaper on a tray nearby. Oh! By looking at the blood-drenched newspapers, I can only imagine that there is something gruesome in it. But Takano-san looks as if she's having fun trying to surprise me. Oh, gosh. This is awful. It's a bloody right arm. The man on the table has his right arm. So, this right arm doesn't belong to him. So, whom does it belong to? I'm used to looking at things like these as a doctor, but the horrible cross-section makes me want to look away. It wasn't done according to the medically correct method, that was for sure. This is not welcome in a medical environment. It is obvious that this right arm was cut off in a cruel way.
I'm pretty sure this man cut this arm off.
So, he's the suspect of the incident in the area? At this point, there's no way of knowing whom this right arm belongs to. But the next morning, we heard about the murder of the damn construction site manager, and that his right arm was missing. So we figured out whose right arm it was.
This man has a criminal record and he's on probation. Yet he committed another crime. I bet he dismantled the body to hide it.
I'm sure it depends on circumstances, but he'll get more than spending a few years in prison. That's no doubt.
So you won't hesitate to dissect a scumbag like him, right?
Who knows? Maybe he was a scumbag before and became violent due to the Hinamizawa syndrome. Or maybe he was straightened out, but became violent again due to the Hinamizawa syndrome. The former is one thing, but if it's the latter case, it's not his fault. That's why the Hinamizawa syndrome is scary. We can't tell if the Hinamizawa syndrome is the cause of the crime or if it's simply a problem of a human nature. But what causes a defect of human nature in the first place? That's what I'm researching. Hate the crime, not the criminal. Is punishment the only way to correct criminals? If a person commits a crime because of a brain disorder, then if he gets treatment, he is corrected. In other words, there are no crimes in this world, but there are patients who are waiting to be treated without anyone else being able to understand them. In medieval times, patients with brain disorders were said to be possessed by demons, and they were either confined or killed. Centuries after, they were finally acknowledged as patients who need treatment. Acknowledgement changes with time. Even if they are called criminals now, maybe after several centuries, those criminals will be acknowledged as patients who are entitled to appropriate treatment. To define crimes as disorders, that's my life's work. The Hinamizawa syndrome is a strange disease that can explain my theory. Solving the mystery is extremely important to me. To solve the mystery, I need a medical sacrifice. It's extremely sinful, but there's no way to solve the mystery without it. The IRIE institution was authorized to take such drastic measures if necessary. That's why I was asked about it so many times when I accepted the position of director. And finally, the opportunity is here. This will be the first step of the research on this strange disease. But even now, I'm a little hesitant. I have opened up human bodies in surgeries. What I'll be doing on this man is something very similar. But there's something that's very different. What I've done before was part of treatment. I did it to save the patients. I did it so the patients could have a better future. But what I'm trying to do here isn't treatment. He will die at the end. His death will be far from humane. I will open up his brain while he's still alive.
Director IRIE, are you listening?
Sorry. Could you repeat it?
We should turn in the dissection plan and ask for some assistance from Tokyo. He's not only alive, he's also in the terminal phase, so he's an extremely important specimen.
I think I should... Yeah, I've already put terminal phase patient already, so...
We must be very careful.
That's true. You're right. Let's do as you say.
I think we'll have a few days before the dissection. So I want to run some reaction tests once he's off the anesthetic.
Do you think that's safe? Even if he's restrained, we don't know what'll happen.
We finally have the opportunity to test on a live specimen. We can't just look into his brain.
Takano-san's unusual cheerfulness makes me feel weird. But maybe her reaction is normal. Maybe I'm the one who's not reacting normally in this situation. Look, that red. I'm only here for the research. So I should be excited to have the opportunity to perform the first dissection. But I'm still hesitant. How can I call myself a researcher? The researchers in the past were brave enough to cross the line, and that's how they accomplished many things. I've seen many brains. I've operated on them. I've also lost some patients too. But I never thought anything of it, because I knew I did the right thing. Even when everything I did was denied afterwards. If I were bothered by it, then all I needed to do was work harder. That's what medical people do. But why am I being so hesitant? Is it because it's a dissection and not a treatment? Does that mean I'm not the type to open a door to a new world? Can I only follow in the footsteps of past researchers?
Hey. What's the matter, Director? Are you feeling okay?
She pretends to be concerned about me, but she knows. She knows I'm still hesitating. And she's telling me that I should be ashamed for feeling that way as a researcher. I shake my head trying to get rid of the sleepiness. Come on. I must remember why I'm here. I already have blood on my hands. But if I stop now, their lives will be wasted. They can rest in peace only when they become cornerstones of this great research. I shake my head once more and remind myself that I'm a researcher. No. I was just thinking. Takano-san, please make some arrangement with Tokyo. And let me know when it's done.
Okay, I understand. I'm getting excited.
The least I can do is to do my best so his life won't be wasted. If he bleeds, I can't even waste a drop of his blood. After scolding my staff that it's not right to talk about a dissection that way, I go back to my office. I guess that counts as his decision. So I'll go ahead and put that too. Okay. Oh! Oh! The background changed! Ooh, that's... Ooh. Dude, that's cool. Okay. I'm gonna take a jump here. I think this might be the next one. Because we've got Satoko's detailed test result. This will say whether I've got Kyosuke's decision or not. Damn it! Okay, I don't have it. Fuck. Okay, I broke that one. I do like, though, that the background changes. That's pretty cool. Okay. I think that counts as the L5, so I'll put that just in case. We haven't got help from the Carrier Queen yet. Haven't got that yet. Nope. 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 No. Nope. Nope. You know what? Let's do Tomitake. The forecast said there was a chance of rain in the evening, but I didn't think it would rain this hard. We wait for the rain clouds to clear in an abandoned bus stop. Sorry, Takano-san.
Oh, don't be, Jiro-san. I knew it would pour, so don't worry about it.
Takano-san giggles. Although she said the weather might change suddenly, I dragged her out here. I feel stupid for making her come along and end up ruining her precious day off. We have to go back to Tokyo tonight, so it'll be a while before we come back to Hinamizawa. That's why I didn't want to spend my last day at a cheap hotel in Okinomiya and asked her to go for a stroll. Oh boy. I'm really sorry. She teases me like a cute devil. She's not trying to corner me for enjoyment. And that's just her way of communicating, and I think it's very charming. I think I've become captivated by her. But to her, I'm just an auditor from Tokyo. That's the reason why she's being nice to me, and it's definitely not because she likes me personally. So if I think about that, I feel like I used my position to drag her out, and that makes me a little depressed. I probably should think this slight fever I have is due to nothing more than a cold. But she's the type of person who says no when she dislikes something. Of course, she doesn't say it directly, but she uses various indirect means and methods to distinctly say no. So I want to believe she is spending time with me because she might have a little attraction towards me. Oh, wait. That little detail that he brought up earlier. Slight fever? I remember that there's a piece saying that Tomitake was not feeling well. At least I think there was. I might be misremembering. I shake my head as I frown upon my selfish thoughts. She chuckles as if she knows what I'm thinking. My face blushes at her little action.
You're a mysterious person, Jiro-san. I bet women don't leave you alone, huh? So, why are you hanging out with a weirdo like me?
Weirdo? No way. You're so attractive, Takano-san. Actually, I feel bad to make you spend a day with someone like me.
Of course. I've decided to devote my life into this important research. But life is too dry with just that. I need to switch gears once in a while. Besides, having communication with the opposite sex is great for the brain.
I'm, more than happy to help you feel refreshed.
Don't you feel refreshed being with me?
She smiles at me like a cute devil and makes my heart pound. I tried to hide my embarrassment so she wouldn't notice my face blushing to the ears. Of course! When I'm with you, I feel refreshed. Besides, if you learn about avian photography, I gain a buddy to share my hobby with. So, next time, I'll bring my old camera. It's really expensive to buy a new one, you know.
Thank you. I would love to learn about avian photography that you're so intrigued by. I'm looking forward to joining you on a photo shooting stroll next time. So, I don't need to buy a camera?
No! Try with my old camera first, and if you like it, then you can buy one for yourself. I'll send it to you when I get back to Tokyo.
Thank you. Then I'll have you criticize my pictures when you come back next time.
Sure. I can hardly wait to see your pictures.
It'd be nothing compared to yours. This is my very first time, you know.
I'm still blushing and scratching my head, and she's still her cool self as she smiles. Am I being self-confident? I can't help thinking that Takano-san likes being with me. If it is just utter social flatter, I don't think she would come along this far. Oh, no. Taking women's utter social flatters seriously is the mistake I always make.
I shouldn't misunderstand. She is attracted to me.
By the way, isn't this the first time for us to be alone like this?
Yeah, you're right. Usually, the director or other research staff is around us.
I don't know anything about you. I don't know exactly what you do in Tokyo or what you've done in the past. I wonder what you do in the self-defense force.
I was an instructor just for a while in the past. But I injured my eye. I can live life normally, but they made a big deal out of it, and ever since, all I do is desk work. Takano-san giggles, saying I must have done something silly to cause the injury. And, well, when I helped the public relations make their magazine, I became fascinated by photography. Cameras have the power to make people happy. I bet you don't know what I'm talking about, but it is true. Since I started to take pictures, my life has been so happy.
How can a camera make you happy?
Well, a camera can take a snapshot of a piece of daily life. Of course, you want to capture a moment that's filled with happiness, right? So you look for happiness through the viewfinder. And as you look, you realize your normal daily life is actually filled with happiness. For example, a dandelion sprouting from the crack of the asphalt. It's just a weed in a busy life. But when you look at it through the viewfinder, it's a gift to let you know the spring is approaching. You capture it and put it in an album. And every time you open the album, you remember the happy feeling you had when you took the picture.
So, you always feel that way when you take your pictures?
Sure. I don't care if my pictures are artistic or if they're worthy of any prizes. Because to me, re-recognizing a small happiness is what's great about cameras. So, I'm so happy to be able to see Hinamizawa through the viewfinder. I have a tendency to go overboard when I talk, but most of the time Takano-san playfully twists my words right back at me. So, it is very unusual for her to listen to me like this. Takano-san sits down next to me and tries to fiddle with my camera. I don't know how much of an impression I gave to her, but I think she's indeed interested in cameras. I was expecting her to tease me as usual, so I'm happy to see her reaction. Do you want to try?
Do you think I can?
It's easy! First, just learn how to focus and press the shutter. Why don't you hold it? Don't ever touch the lens, though.
Ooh, this isn't easy.
Since she seemed to show interest in cameras, I wanted to take a walk around Hinamizawa and take some nature photography. But unfortunately, the rain doesn't seem to stop. But she's still having fun, and she keeps taking pictures inside of this small shack. So, the first set of her pictures are pictures of odd things in and around this dark shack. Since then, every time we meet again, we walk around the village with our cameras in our hands.
Aww. She's evil, but that was sweet. I like that. That was nice.
Huh. Okay, so now Tomitaki has a fever. Wasn't there some... I'm pretty sure there was something... Yeah, Tomitaki's slight fever is required. We haven't unfortunately got to Furude Rika's high fever yet.
Let's see. A bottle of wine is required for a toast. Tomitaki Jiro's promise is required. A draft... Okay, haven't got that yet. Haven't got that yet. Nope. 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 Oh yes, I already destroyed that one because that was a complete accident. Actually, it really should not have been broken. That was an accident. Nope. 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 Nope.
The Revenge of Takano... I don't...
Did I skip something? Hold on. My father's sense of responsibility, director feeling a puppet, why I became a doctor. We got that one. Construction withdrawal, angry villagers, Sonozaki tragedy, death at dam site.
Not that yet. Execution orders acquired for the third-year curse.
What the hell am I missing? Let's test this. I had it. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Swap back over to... Okay. I got his reminiscence. I did not think that I had that, actually. I've wanted to become a doctor since I was little. Oh, wait. God damn it. I should write that down. I'll write down the title later. Doctors make a lot of money. People look up to doctors. I think those are the kind of reasons I had. His reason? Even though I've already got that one, I think. So when I played with my friends, I always acted like a doctor. I cleaned the wounds and used ice packs when my friends sprained their ankles using what I learned from household medical books. Everyone, including me, believed that I'd be a doctor one day. My family was poor, so they praised my goal. They told me that I needed to study a lot to become a doctor, so they borrowed some quackery books from the rental library for me. Quackery? The rental fee wasn't cheap. So I would speed read one book in a day, and the next day my parents would go back to the store to exchange it for a different book, saying they accidentally borrowed a book they already borrowed before. By doing so, my parents borrowed 2 books for the price of 1. Nice. Of course, now I know those books were rather useless, but they were highly motivational for me to reach my goal. My neighbors called me Dr. Kyosuke-kun, and I was always picked for class health officer at school. Even my teachers helped me with the classes I needed to take becoming a doctor. Oh, that was nice of them. Of course, in reality, becoming a doctor isn't as easy as it seems. No, my god, the amount of training you need for that. I had to study diligently, and the path was most definitely rough. To become a doctor, one must attend a college. Since my family was poor, I was told I wasn't allowed to go to an expensive private school. So I had to be admitted to a national public university. My grades weren't that bad, but the admission rate to national public universities are very marginal. Especially since I wanted to go to a medical school, the chances were even smaller. I studied like crazy. The only driving force was my childhood dream of becoming a doctor. The dream of becoming a doctor, and to be looked up by everyone, kept me going. And I was admitted. I wasn't at the top of the list, but I made it in. I was finally at the starting point of making my childhood dream come true. My parents were thrilled. Neither my father nor my mother went to college, so they were proud of their son getting into a public medical school. They invited the relatives and celebrated. Although it was a public university, the tuition wasn't cheap, but they still had an extravagant celebration. My father didn't express his emotions much. He always kept his straight face. He rarely expressed his opinion or led anything. My mother took care of everything, and he showed up last and left without saying a word. He was a typical stern and silent Japanese father at the time. That's why I was surprised to see him shedding tears of joy, and I cried with him. He went around to all my relatives while repeatedly slapping my back, saying he was so proud of his son, and how lucky he was to have a son like me. And he bragged about my achievement to all who would hear it. The party became my farewell party as I was about to leave for Tokyo. My father hailed "Banzai" repeatedly at the station as the train pulled away. I was a little embarrassed, but when I couldn't see my father anymore, I can clearly recall the tears pouring down. The days of hellish studying and exams began after that. Some days I was tempted to just give up and submit myself to the lavish lifestyle of the city. But the letters from my family encouraged me every time and gave me energy to go on. My dream then was to open up my own clinic in my hometown so I could contribute to the area. I never even dreamed of getting involved with brains. One day, I noticed a difference in a letter from my family. The letter said the usual things like how things are at home and asking how I am doing, but the postscript is what caught my attention. Dad has become violent lately. Sometimes he turns the house upside down and I don't know what to do. I just couldn't picture him acting so violently. I was extremely surprised. Did something happen? But in the postscript, my mother said that there was nothing she could think of. My mother and father had been together for a long time. They'd been together since, well, before I was born. So she noticed things that I couldn't. She couldn't even think of a reason why my father had become violent. What happened? They got along so well. They were such a lovely couple. When I caused a problem for my mother when I was little, my father bonked my head with his knuckle. Why is he acting this way towards my mother? Maybe there was some kind of misunderstanding between them. Oh shit. Might have been something going on with him. I was going home for the new year. Maybe I could have a good talk with him. But the situation was a lot more serious than I thought. On one cold winter day, I found my apartment door unlocked. I thought someone broke in, but I found my mother in my apartment with her luggage. That's right. My mother could no longer take my father's violence and came to stay with me. This was back when people still believed the proverb, "A woman has no place to settle down all her life." I've never heard that. Could somebody give me a little bit of a history lesson on that, please? She couldn't go back to her own family because they lived in the same area as my father, so she came all the way to Tokyo. She told me about my father's daily domestic violence towards her. She cried, saying she had no idea why such a quiet man changed like that. She said she wasn't ever going back to him. I didn't know what to do. I asked her if she could talk to him one more time, but the bruises on her body told me it was no use. Oh, fuck. To remember what happened afterwards is too much, so I'll be brief. After my mother left, my father thought she was having an affair and went over to the neighbor's house with a wooden sword. He was arrested. He was released immediately, but he assumed someone in the neighborhood was hiding her, so he did the same thing repeatedly. He eventually went to the point of getting into fights with anyone he saw. At the end, he picked a fight with punks and ended up being beaten to death. Jesus! What the fuck happened to him? My relatives gave my father a decent funeral, but my mother didn't attend. It's no use beating a dead horse. So nobody said anything negative about my father, but everyone was simply puzzled as to why he changed so much. What I heard from my relatives about my father's final days is a lot stranger than what I heard from my mother. My mother only told me about his sudden rage and violence, but my relatives told me that he would also suddenly be in euphoria and in depression as well. His emotions changed suddenly, and it was worse toward his final days. They also told me that he started to complain about headaches after an accident. Oh. Something must have gotten knocked out of place. My father was a construction worker. He hit his head hard on a 2x4 one day. He regained his consciousness quickly and he was fine. But since the accident, he started to have headaches and abnormalities. I sensed the connection between the accident and my father's change, so I talked to my professor after I came back to Tokyo.
I can't be sure, but from what I hear, There's a possibility that your father had some kind of psychological condition. Maybe the accident caused an injury to the brain and induced some psychiatric disorder. The personality disorder and delirium that your father had are very similar to the symptoms of the patients with organic brain syndrome.
Human behavior is created by the brain, and if the brain is damaged, it can cause erratic behavior. In other words, my father wasn't crazy. He was a patient suffering from a disorder.
If you can perform an autopsy on him, you should check his brain carefully. Maybe you'll find something like a tumor.
My father was already cremated, so there was no way of knowing. But hearing about his behavior, I knew for sure. That was the only way to explain the reason why such a quiet and gentle man would change. I tried to explain that to my relatives to regain my father's honor, but hardly anyone understood. If his brain was damaged, he would have been dead. But he was alive and well. So the accident didn't damage his brain. It wasn't his brain that caused him to change, it was his mind. They simply brushed it off. This is the perception most people have about the brain. They don't realize the mind and the brain are connected. Most of the relatives didn't believe me, but there was one person who I wanted to believe me. It was my mother. As she got older, she became senile, and she exaggerated the abuse she had to endure. All she did was criticize my father, and every time she ended up crying, lamenting that she married him. They were a lovely couple. We were a great family. That's why I wanted her to understand that she was misunderstanding the situation with my father. My father's behavior was caused by his brain disorder. What he did to her is very sad, but he didn't want to be that way. I told her that he wasn't at fault. But my mother didn't understand. Before she took the final breath, I begged her to forgive my father. But her final words were, "Please don't bury me next to your father." My father wasn't at fault. He was simply the victim of a brain disorder. You don't complain to a person who is coughing because he has a cold. Because coughing is just a symptom, and he should be sympathized with. In my father's case, the symptoms weren't as clear as coughing. They were more difficult to ascertain. It's called a personality change. If I had studied about the brain more, I could have explained it better to my mother so she could have understood my father. Then they could have been a nice couple again in heaven. When I realized that, I cried. And I also realized that there are plenty of people like my father in this world who are suffering from this disorder, yet they are misunderstood and despised for it. And then I found out. I found out about a miraculous cure for such disorders called psychosurgery. Oh, that was another thing that was kind of brought up. I'm guessing psychosurgery, according to some people, is actually kind of like lobotomy. Okay, thank you for that. Ever since that day, I spent my days learning about the brain, so I could help people who are suffering from mental illnesses. My father is gone, but if he was still alive, I could cure him myself. So he and my mother could reconcile. That's the main reason why I am here. There it is. IRIE'S reason. IRIE'S reason. So that's why he became a doctor. Ease. Okay, which one is... That's not his decision, no. There it is! Irie Kyosuke's motive to become a doctor. Although, I'm not seeing any more. Oh, back over there. Wait, what does that say? Oh, 7 pieces are required. piece from the Onikakushi episode is required. The game board must be set up. A raw sea urchin and vitamin A are required. The game board, piece from the Watanagashi episode. Alright guys, that is actually where I'm going to end it for today. I got a few more pieces of information, not necessarily enough to make any conclusive decisions yet. Alright, looks like I still got quite a bit to do here. And I have officially run out of room on this first piece of paper. Which means now I get to flip it over, and we get to write down more on the other side.
Oh, goody. It's my favorite when that gets to happen.
Anyway, guys, I will go ahead and apologize once again for the length of the episode. I am severely lacking in that, but there's unfortunately not much I can do about that. Oh, I will go ahead and give you guys a little bit of some good information. It hasn't been fully decided yet, but I'm currently looking into getting a better internet provider, which means higher internet speed, higher upload speed, and the possibility to finally do some sort of stable live streams for once. Well, specifically at this particular residence. So I'm just going to let you guys kind of hopefully be a little excited. Like I said, I'm pretty hopeful right now if the provider will actually work. But needless to say, let's just say that the speed, the upload speed, it should be at least 10 times faster than what it is right now. And let me put it to you this way. I'm in the kilobyte upload speed, if that lets you guys know how messed up this is. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Hello there, everybody. Sabato92 here, and if you like this video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And hey, if you guys like my content, then maybe you'd like to check out another channel who I think deserves equal attention. So click that nightmare emblem and check out that channel, or go to the links in the description down below. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.